What's up and welcome to another episode of Football Everyday, brought to you by Maybank Premier Accounts, coming to you live and direct from Studio V here at the Wanatama Shopping Centre in PJ. My name's Nelson, as usual, and joining me today on the show is my bro Ian Yee. I tell you what, we're both really happy today. Ian, we missed you at Sold Out last Sunday. Party was great, wish you were there, but I tell you what, nevertheless, it's good to have you here and getting things started, bro. Like I said, we're both really happy seeing as United beat Arsenal 3-1 at the Emirates. Well, I think United fully deserved to win, right? I mean, so what do you think of the performance and, of course, the result?
I think it was an excellent performance. Actually, United should have scored more, I think.
Yeah.
Of course, Arsenal had some half chances with Arshavin coming close a few times. I think Arshavin was the only bright spark in that match for Arsenal. I mean, Fabregas did his usual thing, but towards the end, once they got the third goal, it looked like he was completely miserable. It looked like he just wanted to get off the pitch. And you know, the body language, you know, if you want to read into it, for me at least, you kind of get that feeling that he doesn't want to be there anymore. That might have been the last straw for him. Yeah. I think psychologically it was a big blow for him. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is his last season with Arsenal.
We've got Xavi Hernandez from Barcelona, kind of calling him to go back to Barcelona as well. But bro, I mean, we also know that just before United played Arsenal, right, in the same week, they beat Manchester City 3-1 to make it into the League Cup final, where they now face Aston Villa. So what do you think of this little good run of theirs? I mean, difficult opposition, of course.
Yeah, I think we're seeing the real Manchester United now. I mean, I was writing on my blog recently that I think the title race is swinging in United's favour now. Yeah. Because Chelsea, they have all these tough fixtures ahead of them, and they're only going to get more tired as the season goes on because of the African Nations Cup and so on and so forth. And they have some pretty old legs there. But in United's case, they're going to get people like Ferdinand coming back. They're going to get people like Nemanja Vidic coming back. And they missed most of the season. They had a pre-season, and now they're missing most of the season. So they're going to be relatively fit when the end of the season comes along. So they're in a much better position now. And those recent wins are reflecting that they're coming in form. And they're young attackers. They're finally finding form. That's the most important part. Yeah. People like Valencia, when he first came, we were all complaining, what is this, 16 million pounds and you play like that? But he's doing really well now, and Nani of all people. If Nani plays well, you know that something's happened, something's going right. I mean,
got to agree with you there. And very quickly, bro, what of Arsenal and their title credentials now, in your opinion?
Actually, if you ask me, I think Arsenal are still very much in it. People are writing them off, but you cannot write Arsenal off. You cannot write Cesc Fabregas off. You can't write Arsene Wenger off. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. He's had a bit of problems, I think, in that sense. Ferguson will always have an edge over Wenger, you know, in those duels. But if you think about it, if they beat Chelsea in the coming game, I think they're only going to be like what? Especially after Chelsea drew. I think they're only going to be like 4 points behind or something like that. It's not too far-fetched, and there are still about 13 games to go in the season. It's a long season, and Arsenal have plenty of chance to catch up.
All right. Moving on, bro. I mean, other results. So Liverpool beat Bolton at home by 2-0. I mean, a win for the Reds at last, but it was only against Bolton, no disrespect. I mean, so what do you make of their inconsistency? I mean, look, they'll beat a team like Man United 1 week, right? And then the following year, they lose to Portsmouth or something like that, right? So it's that kind of season for Liverpool so far.
Yeah, it's been a horrible season for them. It's been a nightmare season. I'm not sure what else there is to say about it. I mean, what do you think about it? What can they do?
I've got to agree with you. I mean, they've really got to build from results, from good results. They've got to build like they're playing Everton.
Yeah, playing Everton next, right?
So I mean, after having beaten Bolton at home, people would expect them to move on and build.
It could be a springboard for them, right? Yeah. In that sense, you know, if they beat Everton, then their morale is high and they can go places from there. Because what they really need now is confidence, as we were talking about it last week.
They got to get a good run going, in my opinion. But we'll talk a little more on Everton later on in the show. Moving on, Chelsea were made to work hard at Turf Moor and managed to come away with a 2-1 win, thanks to goals by Anelka and John Terry. Bro, Burnley is not an easy place to go to, so I'm sure they'll be happy to have won. Speaking of Chelsea, they had a game in hand and they played that this morning and only managed to draw 1-1 against Hull City, which leaves them now 2 points ahead of Man United. Bro, I think the Blues came from a goal down in this one, but I think you would expect Carlo Ancelotti to be disappointed, right? Look, not to have beaten a team third from bottom.
I think it was a bad result. The Burnley one though, you know, John Terry scoring away from home.
Yeah,
you get it? Away from home, scoring.
All right, more on Chelsea, Liverpool and Man United later on the show. But it's time for our first break here on Football Everyday, brought to you by Maybank Premier Accounts. So do stay tuned and we'll be right back after these messages with more football chat and banter. Welcome back to Football Everyday, brought to you by Maybank Premier Accounts with me, Nelson, and of course Ian Yee. Before we look at the weekend's eye-catching fixtures, right, our email of the week today comes from Jimmy Ong, who's an Arsenal fan and was really disappointed with the Gunners' performance against Man United. Jimmy believes Wenger needs to put his youth development policy aside for once, and spend some money on top-class players. I think especially a proven goal scorer. Bro, I mean, somehow I kind of agree with Jimmy. I think you would as well, right?
Yeah.
I think they miss the presence of the Adebayo-like striker up front, and
they really miss Robin van Persie, who was in the form of his life. I think he was probably up there with Torres as one of the best strikers in the league at the moment. And to lose him is very unfortunate. But he should have done something in the transfer window. He really should have. Nicholas Bender, he should have sold him quite a while ago. He's a mid-table player at most for me. Should have cashed in on Bender, maybe get £5-6 million from that, spend on somebody, because when you give Arsene Wenger money, he will spend it well. So why don't you get a decent striker instead of putting Andre Arshavin up there alone on his own? It worked for periods against United. They had some neat
especially
interchange.
At the start.
He when he got the ball to his feet and he ran at West Brown a couple of times, it almost worked out.
Yeah, but imagine kind of like the support as well.
If he had a strike partner with him, Brown would have been in two minds. But up front on his own, it's not going to work. They need a striker.
Yeah, good. Agree with you there, man. But Jimmy, thanks a lot for the great email and for your efforts. You picked up a great prize courtesy of Adidas. If you're a Maybank account holder as well, do let us know. And you'll also take home a Maybank pack consisting of a Maybank bag and an Adidas Premium. If you want to write to us, do drop us a line at football@thestar.com.my. All right, getting into the weekend's games. Got to start at Anfield, bro, where the Merseyside derby round 2 between Liverpool and Everton takes place. Bro, the Reds won 2-0 at Goodison Park last time round. So do you see them doing the double over their neighbourhood rivals this weekend?
Oh, it's going to be tough because Everton have been playing really well. Louis Saha is finally getting a run without injuries. He's an excellent striker, excellent striker. If he hadn't had the injuries he's had, he'd probably be one of the best strikers in the world at the moment. He has it all. Strength,
I think he would have.
Pace.
He would still be at United probably if he wasn't injured so often.
Yeah, he would. So I think it's going to be a tough one for Liverpool, especially now that in midfield they're kind of soft. Mascherano is the only one that's doing any real work there, and Gerrard is too busy trying to score because
Torres is missing.
Torres is missing. So Fellaini, on the other hand, for Everton has been immense. Has been magnificent. He does everything at the moment. He's everywhere. He's confident. He wins every 50-50 ball. So Liverpool are up against it.
Just like Shabby said, I think a couple of weeks ago, that Fellaini's best position is probably as a defensive midfielder in front of the back four. He protects them and he gets forward as well. Like you said, wins the tackles, gets the tackles in, wins balls, even scores a couple of vital goals as well.
All the time, He's always a threat at set pieces and all that. Very good buy. I think when they first bought him, it was like, wow, 16 million pounds or something. A record signing for Everton. And people are wondering, is he going to make it? He's proven his worth.
So what do you think the score is going to be?
I think it's going to be tight, but Everton have a chance of winning it, maybe 2-1.
Wow, 2-1 at Anfield.
Yeah.
You heard it from Ian, man. Okay, and over at the KC Stadium, Manchester City visit Hull City. Ian, the form of both these teams, for me, has kind of been the opposite of one another, with Hull, consistently battling to avoid the drop, while City seem to be genuine contenders for a top 4 finish. So, you think City will take this one?
I think City will win this. I know Chelsea only managed to draw, but I think City are a different proposition. They have enough talent, and I think Chelsea in a way are disrupted by the players coming back. You don't really know what to do. Should I put Drogba straight back in? Is he tired?
That's right.
Should I test it out? So it
Balak's
was
a bit off colour as well.
Yeah, Balak didn't play too well. So, but City, I think they've been pretty solid in recent weeks. So I think they're going to win it.
Right, got to ask you very quickly, bro. Personally, what do you think of Robinho's departure in terms of its impact on the City team? Come the rest of the season.
Yeah, like I mentioned last week, I think that definitely has an effect on the dressing room because he's their biggest player. He's their biggest name. When the other players sign up to join Manchester City, they sign up because they're players like Robinho there, Adebayo is there, Tevez is there. We're going to go places. So to see Robinho leave like this, being so disinterested and lacking so much confidence in the manager, in the club, that should affect everybody's morale. But in a way, you know, for Robinho, I understand. You know, I mean, I'm not a footballer, I can't really understand, but I can see why he's decided to leave. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a human being.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's not happy at Manchester, he should do what's right by himself.
Yep.
You know, he wants to go home to Brazil and you know, where he's more comfortable, where maybe he feels he can express himself more freely. And you must understand, the weather in Manchester is miserable.
Yeah. And the loan might actually benefit him. He might come back to City.
Exactly, he might come back to City or go back to Europe.
Yeah.
And he's fighting for a World Cup spot as well. That's why he needs to go back for regular football.
All right, more football chat to come, but it is time for our final break here on the show. So do stay tuned as we'll be right back with more chat and banter on Football Everyday, brought to you by Maybank Premier Accounts. We'll see you soon. You're back with us on the third and final segment of today's show. We're on the weekend's upcoming games, right? So let's move on with Tottenham versus Aston Villa at White Hart Lane. Bro, can you see a winner in this one?
Yes, I think
Spurs?
It will be Spurs. Okay, for once, all right, Shabby. I'll give in once. I think Spurs would get it. Villa, I don't quite know what to make of them.
Yeah.
You know, they haven't been excellent. At times you see Milner performing well. They have a Bonahor who saves them every now and then. But apart from that, you really can't see too much quality in the side.
For me, they seem to be kind of like the Everton of the past 2-3 years. I mean, look, they're not like way down there, nor will they be like, you know, top 4, top 3 quality kind of thing, right?
But at least the difference with them and Everton is that back then Everton was always playing defensive football. You know, they were just struggling to get by with all the injuries they've had. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. But Villa, they play with a bit more freedom, you know. And of course, Arsenal went and said that they play direct football, which is not true. They do not play long ball football. I mean, people like Ashley Young, they got the skills. Yep. Stuart Downing, you know, he's played pretty well recently. Milner has been excellent.
They've got some, I was going to point out, they've got some young British attacking talent as well in the team, you know, upcoming British talent. But bro, looking at the bigger picture, would you say Spurs or Villa have a better chance of finishing in the top 4 if one of them do?
I think it's definitely Spurs. It's definitely Spurs that has a chance. They have players like, for me, Defoe would be the one that makes the difference between the two sides. For example, with Villa, you have Agbonlahor who works really hard, but sometimes he doesn't score as consistently as some of the players that Spurs has. And on the other hand, they have Emil Heskey. While Spurs, they can afford to sell Pavlyuchenko.
Yeah, if Robbie Keane's gone.
Oh, and Robbie Keane is gone now too. Yeah, you know, so they have more options. I think.
So give me a score prediction then.
Wow, maybe 1-0 to Spurs. It'll
be
a tight game.
Narrow win for Spurs then. Okay, time now for the big one at Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea welcome Arsenal, bro. The Blues will be hoping to bounce back, you know, from their failure to beat Hull this morning. I think while Arsenal, we know, are on the back of a disappointing loss to United, so this should be interesting, right?
It should be. I think Arsenal will be keen to prove a point as well. And I think Chelsea are there for the taking. Chelsea are, because Arsenal, as we know, on their day, they can run rings around anybody. And their style of play, you know, with the late passes, you know, and the intricate passing and the movement, all the players are, you know, have that low center of gravity, you know, good balance to get around their marker. So Chelsea, on the other hand, they've got lots of old legs there. Terry is, you know, lumbering around these days. He hasn't looked, you know, the dominant force he used to be. And people like Ballack, you know, they haven't been doing too well. So I think Arsenal have a good chance.
Do you see the key being Lampard and Fabregas again, in deciding the outcome?
Fabregas would be key. Lampard, I'm not too sure. I haven't been watching him play too much recently, but I mean, he hasn't been hogging the headlines like Fabregas. I've been watching Fabregas for one. I think he's probably the best player in the world right now. He's just amazing. Against United for the first maybe 60 minutes before they went 3-0 down, he was awesome. He was nutmegging everyone. It's like, it was amazing. He seems to be able to do it all. He can dribble.
He can pass, he can shoot now.
Yeah, every decision he makes on the football field makes sense. Whether it's a pass, a true ball, a long ball, it's wonderful to watch him. It's amazing.
Totally agree with you, bro. So very quickly, what's the score going to be, you think?
Wow, my heart says 2-1 to Arsenal. But
I really hope you're right in that one. Okay, and very quickly, Manchester United play Portsmouth at home. So I think you agree with me that this should be a comfortable win for Red Devils?
No problem. You could probably put some money on Rooney scoring a hat-trick or something.
Another hat-trick for Rooney. All right, and lastly, free-falling Sunderland are at home to Wigan. So you think Steve Bruce's side can turn things around by beating the Latics? I mean, look, they started the season really well, but now Sunderland, if I'm not mistaken, they've not won since November.
Yeah, they've had their fair share of injury troubles as well, especially at the back. And but they're not going to fall in the relegation battle or anything. They're pretty safe, and I think probably they're going to look to for next season to improve on what they have this season. But this game will be tricky because we're going to have some reinforcements now. I think they've signed like 3 strikers.
Yeah, but so has Sunderland. They bought Benjani, I think, from Man City.
Benjani? Oh, really? Oh, okay. I haven't heard.
Deadline day transfer as well. Right. But okay, I think Sunderland will beat Wigan at home. But just before we leave, as usual, this week's Football Everyday fun fact is on Sunderland manager Steve Bruce. Bro, did you know that in addition to an autobiography, Heading for Victory, Bruce has actually also published 3 novels entitled Sweeper, Defender and Striker, featuring the exploits of a fictional footballer manager called Steve Barnes. We were laughing as well when I read it. But bro, you think Brucey is the right man to take Sunderland places in the long term?
Yeah, he always has a plan, and considering that this is the first time he's had any real budget to work with, this is the first real club where he's had some money to spend.
And the support of the boardroom and stuff.
So I think they need to stick with him.
All right, and very quickly, just before we go, bro, I got to ask you, transfer deadline has passed now, but did any transfers in particular catch your eye?
Not any transfers in particular, but the manner of the transfers. I mean, if you notice that there have been a lot of strikers moving around. I think the Premier League is moving this direction where everybody wants to go for the win. People are learning a lesson that if you draw in the Premier League, if you have too many draws, you're gonna lose out. You're gonna go down the table. So you've
got to score goals, right?
Yeah, exactly. West Ham bought 3 strikers as well. Wigan, we know they got a bunch of strikers. So the attacking focus is there. Spurs got Adio Gudjohnsen, and who used to be a massive player for Chelsea. So it's good to see that in the Premier League. It's good for the game.
All that's left is for Arsenal to go get a striker, right?
Yeah, of all teams, they need one.
Right, bro. Pleasure it's been as always, guys. That's all the time we have on this week's edition of Football Everyday, brought to my Maybank Premier Accounts. Until we see you next week, do enjoy your football, and I'll tell you what, Ian and I will see you soon. So take care and happy Chinese New Year.
Yeah, nice Chinese New Year.